We've taken 3 questions. We'll come back to the president and get his response, and then we'll open up for another round.
Thank you very much. When the EFF was formed in 2013, we went around consulting our people on the options that we had, whether we should form an economic emancipation, non-governmental organization which will agitate for economic freedom, or we should form an economic freedom that will be a lobby group aligned to the ANC, or should we form a political party? They said we must form a political party. Then we engaged in the process of drafting what we call the founding manifesto of the EFF. And in that founding manifesto of the EFF, that's where the policies of the EFF are contained. So from election to election, whatever you promise should be aligned to that founding manifesto. So let's talk about 7 non-negotiable cardinal pillars, for instance. They are in the founding manifesto. Expropriation of land without compensation is in the founding manifesto. So even if I so wish to get rid of it as a new president of the EFF, I've got no option, because the founding manifesto is not a subject of amendment. It stays forever. It's not a constitution that from conference to conference you can change. You have to make sure that you follow the founding manifesto. Then all of those policies are the ones that we've been advocating for in Parliament. In the founding manifesto, you find a minimum wage, for instance. We spoke about minimum wage in 2014. In 2013 founding manifesto, 2014 election manifesto, went to Parliament and sponsored a bill on minimum wage. The ANC rejected it initially, and ultimately in 2018 they agreed to it. And we were saying in 2014, no one must be paid less than the lowest paid worker must be paid 4,500. They refused and said a worker must be paid 20 rand per hour, and then a farm worker 18 rand per hour, and then domestic worker 15 rand per hour. If you calculate that money in 40 hours, it gives you 3 point something thousand, right? So which means the ANC said per month, people must get less than what the EFF said they must get in 2014. 2018, then fast forward, the latest adopted one says, no, they must actually get 27 rand. The good thing about it is that it's not now categorizing them, unlike the previous one, which was saying farm workers, says minimum wage, 27 rand. So between 2018 and now, if you calculate 27 rand, there's been an increase of 7 rand, and these people are now getting 4.6 or something like that, achieving what the EFF said in 2013, that no one must be paid less than that amount of money. So I'm using this to illustrate a point that we're implementing that which is the founding principles of the EFF. Went into Parliament and said we must amend the Constitution to allow expropriation of land without compensation. From 2014, fighting for that. 2 years ago, the ANC then says, we agree. Let's establish a committee which is going to investigate if people agree for the expropriation of land without compensation. Went all over South Africa. Majority of people agreed with us, both in public participation and policy submissions in Parliament. Agreed with us. The ANC, we came here, there's a hotel here, I forgot the name. We went to have a meeting there with the ANC. Very senior comrades of the ANC were sent there, including, I remember Bulela Nguga was there and others. We agreed on expropriation of land without compensation. When we go back to Parliament, having collected this and agreed with them, they bring an amended motion that we will expropriate land which belongs to the state, and rotten land. What do we do with the rotten land? Because what rotten land is not those things of wet land. And then how do you expropriate that which you have? And then they say we must vote for that. We said no. And then they went out and said they voted against expropriation of land. They don't finish it. They don't say this is what we were proposing. They just say expropriation of land, but they don't explain what the amendment entailed. It's like Zuma when he went to vote for the killing of Gaddafi in the UN Security Council. He came back and said, I never voted for that. I voted for no-fly zone and stopped there. When he said, I voted for no-fly zone and stopped there, Floyd added that you voted for no-fly zone and any other means necessary. So that any other means necessary is what killed Gaddafi, and you voted for it. So you ought to listen to the detail of it in order to appreciate where do these people come from. Not once have we ever compromised on the expropriation of land without compensation. Look, the EFF gives black young professionals opportunity now through its existence without being government to fight for themselves and to be who they are. If you ask young professionals wherever they are, when a white boss wants to impose on them an illiterate white boy because he's a child of a boss, they just tell the white boss now that we are going to tell the EFF about this. The boss says, let's talk about it. It looks like it needs a different approach. Now, we've given black professionals the weapon they can use to protect themselves, and that is the EFF. Imagine we do that outside government. If we become government, none of our people will be disadvantaged. I'm not a lawyer like you, but I know for a fact that in the Constitution, it is very clear that in whatever we do, we need to address the imbalances and the inequalities of the past. And hence the emergence of those things of BEE and all of that. You cannot address South Africa's historical problem without addressing the empowerment of those who were rejected by the system, because it was a deliberate thing to keep you out. It must be a deliberate thing to bring you in. So you were not out by coincidence. Someone sat down and said, black children must not be taught mathematics because they will not have anywhere to use mathematics. And he was right. Verwoerd, I almost said Van Riebeeck, Verwoerd, same thing. Now, Verwoerd says, what are black people doing with maths? They can't use it anyway. He's right. Maths equals to high jobs and high opportunities. And high jobs and high opportunities were reserved for white people. So even if you pass maths, where are you going to go? And you can't go and work outside South Africa because once you do that, you are a terrorist in consequences. Even when you are just living professional, you get accused of being a terrorist. So they knew you are stuck here. How do you address that? You have to give these black people that which white people denied them. You have to make maths compulsory at school.